Have you ever wondered if people from very different social classes can fall in love? Let's tell a story about a very rich man who unexpectedly falls in love with his ex-employee. Interesting, isn't it? Let's delve deeper. It was a rainy, cold afternoon. The rain was coming down hard, hitting the windows of the large mansion. In the living room, Justin, a well-dressed man, and Elle, a simple young woman, stared at each other with serious faces. Justin, who had inherited a huge company, was visibly upset. On the other side, Elle, who worked cleaning his house, was firm, even if she felt a little uncomfortable. "You think you can come into my house and do whatever you want?" Justin shouted, his deep voice echoing off the walls full of valuable paintings. "I haven't done anything wrong, Mr. Justin," Elle replied, trying to stay calm, but her voice showed a little fear. "I'm just doing my job." "Your job?" Justin stepped forward, looking very menacing. "I found this in my office," he said, dropping a small key on the floor near her feet. "Do you have any explanation for this?" Elle stared at the key, her mind working fast. She didn't know how the key had ended up there, but she knew she had to explain before things got any worse. "Sir, I told you I don't know what you're talking about." "I've never seen that key before," said Elle, with indignation in her voice. "You think I want to steal something? Is that it? You rich people always think that poor people are thieves." Even so, Elle's words didn't diminish Justin's distrust. Justin was furious, pacing back and forth with a very angry look on his face. Afraid of being wrongly accused, Elle had a brilliant idea and said, "Mr. Justin, instead of accusing me without proof, why don't you check the security cameras? They'll show what really happened." He stopped and decided to follow Elle's suggestion, going to check the cameras immediately. After watching the footage, Justin discovered that he himself had taken the key from the safe and left it somewhere else without realizing it. He soon came to his senses and realized that he had been rude and overbearing towards Elle. Repentant, he went to her to apologize. But he soon heard from the housekeeper that Elle felt very offended and no longer wanted to work at the Roberts mansion. Justin was very sorry for having judged Elle unfairly and realized that his prejudice had been wrong. Determined to correct his mistake, he decided to go to her house to apologize. The next morning, he got up early and went looking for Elle. He knew he had to make amends, as he had been very rude to her. Elle lived in a small apartment in the suburbs. My friends, Justin was a man who was suspicious and protective of his possessions, finding it difficult to trust the people around him. His distrust of Elle reflected his own insecurity and fear of being betrayed again, especially after a marriage that ended tragically. On the other hand, Elle was a person who often faced prejudice and devaluation for being a day laborer, fighting every day to be respected. Elle knew her rights and demanded respect for all workers. When Justin became suspicious of her, he offended her deeply. When Justin went to Elle's apartment, she greeted him with contempt and said, "Oh, you've come to ask for my forgiveness so you can sleep soundly and go on thinking you're a good person. Is that what rich people do? They offend, they hurt unjustly, and then they think that a simple apology solves everything, right?" Justin was speechless, realizing that although her words were harsh, they were true. Gathering his courage, Justin said, "Yes, Elle. That's exactly it. I want to be able to sleep peacefully and feel like a good person. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Please come back and work in my house." At that moment, Elle's mother, Mary, sensing the tension between the two, offered her some tea with homemade cookies, the kind that all mothers know how to make. Elle, looking seriously at her mother, said, "Mom, that man isn't the type to eat cookies with tea." Mary looked at Justin in surprise, not understanding how anyone wouldn't want to try tea with homemade cookies. To Elle's surprise, Justin said, "I was wrong about you, Elle, but you're wrong about me too." Turning to Mary, he said, "Madam, I'd love to have your tea and homemade cookies." "Isn't that what you call them?" "My mother used to make them for me all the time, and since she passed away, I've never had the pleasure. I'd love to have coffee with you, said Justin with a smile. They sat down at the table, Justin and Mary, while Elle, with her arms crossed, watched from afar. They told jokes, laughed, and enjoyed lots of homemade cookies. After a few hours of lively conversation, Justin got up to leave. Mrs. Mary, it was a pleasure to meet you. You brought back great memories of my mother. Can I come back for more of those delicious cookies? Mary, with a warm smile, replied, Of course, my son. Come at the weekend. I'll prepare something special just for you. When Justin left, Elle complained to her mother that she shouldn't be so nice to him. Mary smiled and replied, A daughter, you've only seen his exterior. I saw what he really is on the inside. He's not a bad person, just a lonely man. Justin came back not just once, but several times. He loved the warm atmosphere and the affection that Mrs. Mary gave him. But, my friends, there was something even more important that made Justin come back. Elle's contempt, which had its reasons, sparked Justin's desire to win her over. Justin's visits became more and more frequent, and he and Elle began to spend more time together. Justin, charmed by Elle's strength and determination, always found ways to prolong their conversations. Slowly, Elle began to lower her barriers. Over time, the image of the rich man in the mansion was transformed into that of a kind and attentive man in her home. As the days went by, a special undisclosed interest began to grow between them. One day, Justin could no longer hold back his feelings for Elle and said, Elle, we need to talk about something that's been bothering me for a while. She looked at him, her heart beating fast, as she realized that his gaze was tender and passionate. Of course, Mr. Justin, as she replied. He came closer, holding her hands. I can't hide my feelings any longer. Ever since I met you and after all these days of coming to visit your house and getting to know you more closely, my life has changed completely. I'm sure of my feelings. It all started there with that incident with the key. I saw what an incredible woman you are and I just fell in love. I love you. Elle stood still, his words resonating in her mind, leaving her at a loss for words. Justin, began Elle, but he interrupted her, his eyes full of emotion. Please don't say anything now. I just wanted you to know how I felt. Elle was paralyzed, her heart beating fast. You don't understand. We're from completely different worlds. This will never work. I know it will be difficult, Justin replied, holding her hands firmly. But I'm willing to face any obstacle, as long as you're by my side. I believe in us. Elle was apprehensive about Justin's statement, not because she didn't like him, but because they came from such different worlds. She looked at him, her eyes full of concern. Justin, I too have to confess that lately, after getting to know you better, I've been thinking about you a lot. And I can also reveal that I'm falling in love with you every day. Elle admitted, her voice trembling. But the difference between our worlds is enormous. You have a life full of luxury and opportunities, while my life is simple and full of struggles. That doesn't matter to me, Elle, said Justin with determination. What matters is how we feel about each other. I know we can overcome anything together. Elle sighed, still uncertain. I just don't want you to regret it. I don't want you to lose everything you have because of me. Justin smiled softly and said, Elle, being with you is what really matters to me. I don't care about the differences or the challenges. I want to build something real with you. Elle felt a surge of hope and excitement, but also fear. She knew the road ahead would be full of difficulties, but she also knew that her feelings for Justin were strong. She squeezed his hands, feeling a deep connection. Let's try, Elle whispered, finally giving in to the truth in her heart. Let's face this together. Justin smiled, pulling her into a warm hug. Let's make this work, Elle. I promise. They gave in to their first kiss. And what a kiss, huh, my friends? And so, despite the uncertainties and differences, Justin and Elle decided to embark on this journey together, determined to face any challenge that came their way, with the hope of a shared future. The next day, Elle told her mother, Mary, everything. At first, Mary was surprised, but then she smiled, her eyes shining with joy. "Daughter, I'm so happy for you," Mary said, hugging Elle. "Since meeting Justin, I've realized he's a good, caring man. I knew he was the person you needed. The two of you together have something special, something worth fighting for." Elle felt a comforting warmth in her heart when she heard her mother's words. With Mary's support, she felt even more confident that despite their differences and challenges, she and Justin could build a future together. Over time, Justin and Elle faced many challenges. There were disapproving looks, nasty comments, and moments of doubt. But the strength of their love overcame everything. They learned to trust each other, value their differences, and support each other. Finally, Justin and Elle decided to get married. The ceremony was simple, surrounded by friends and family who supported their union. During the party, Justin gave an emotional speech. "Today, we are not only celebrating our love, but also the lesson we learned together," he said, holding Elle's hand. "We are proof that true love can overcome any barrier, be it social class, prejudice, or fear. Elle taught me to be a better person, to see the world with more empathy and understanding. And for that, I will be eternally grateful." Elle, her eyes shining with happy tears, added, "And Justin showed me that love can be found in the most unexpected places and that it's worth fighting for, no matter how hard it seems. Together, we learn that differences make us stronger and that true love knows no barriers. The lesson that remains is that true love is stronger than any prejudice, difference, or difficulty, and that it is always worth fighting for." If you liked this heartwarming story about Justin and Elle, don't forget to like the video. Leave in the comments what you think of their journey and share your own stories of love and overcoming. We love hearing your opinions and experiences. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our next love stories. Thanks for watching and see you next time.